Like the world economy, the amount of talent coming into the NBA each season through the draft fluctuates during every season. It's something we're used to. Every few years a draft class comes along that everyone classifies as bad. Whether it's a lack of talent at the top positions or a lack of depth in general, there are certain years when scouts advise trading the draft picks into future assets. However, this forecast is still simply a collective bet by a group of experts. Every draft in the history of the league has had players who, while not stars, have had the opportunity to enjoy long NBA careers. And what the hell? Absolutely every draft in history's had at least a few all-star caliber players. Perhaps older fans will remember what was said about the 2000 draft, which ended up producing 3 All-Stars in Jamal Magloire, Kenyon Martin, and Michael Redd. Or the infamous 2013 draft, which produced players like Victor Oladipo, Giannis Antetokounmpo, or perennial Defensive Player of the Year Rudy Gobert. The 2024 draft may not be the flashiest, but there are always going to be players who stand out from the crowd and are capable of exceeding expectations. One of the favorites to make it happen this time around is Zaccharie Risacher. During these playoffs, it's been very evident. The role players are being completely vital to their team's performances. In the modern NBA, just having the best superstars not enough. You have to surround them properly. Something that's easily demonstrable considering that the last 3 MVPs in the league, the Joker, Embiid, and Giannis, have been unable to reach the conference finals this season. Role players are taking over, and virtually no player in the draft has the ability to become one as soon as Zaccharie Risacher. And yeah, we're talking about his worst-case scenario. This youngster's further proof that France is one of the best basketball powers in the world. Last year, Victor Wembanyama was chosen in the first position of the draft, and this year it seems that they're going to do the same with Alexander Sarr or Risacher himself. But there's something that differentiates Zachary's path from that of other prospects from the old continent. His father, Stéphane Risacher, was also a professional basketball player. In fact, he's a member of the French Basketball Hall of Fame. In 2005, when Stéphane was playing in the ACB League, Spain's domestic league, Zaccharie was born in Malaga. I was very young, but I just remember there was a small basket in the garden, and I was always playing outside. Stéphane played for Unicaja, the city's team, which has always been one of the top exponents of Spanish basketball. In fact, this season, they'd been able to win the first Champions League in their history. But in 2008, when Zaccharie was only 3 years old, his family moved to Lyon. This is where he grew up and developed his basketball career. It took Zaccharie a long time to realize how good his father was. For him, it was just his father, but the reality is that the man was an Olympic medalist in the 2000 Olympics who almost reached 100 appearances in EuroLeague games, the most prestigious competition in European basketball. His love for basketball was not an obligation. It was pure, he just wanted to do it. And his perseverance from a young age is what's caused some mocks to place him as the favorite to be selected first overall in the upcoming 2024 draft. After playing for Phenom, a team from the suburbs of Lyon, where his father was also an assistant coach, his progression took off. The youngster excelled at all levels, and he had the size, skill, and above all the predisposition to learn that every elite player needs to possess. For this reason, Zaccharie found a well-deserved contract with a professional team. In August 2020, at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, Risacher entered the youth program for ASVEL basketball, a contract that would allow him to play on the first team if things went well, but that'll mostly serve him to play in the under-21 league. Although the league was under-21, Zaccharie was only 16 years old. He appeared in 10 games in the LNB Espoir, averaging 4.4 points with an efficient 47% shooting from the field. He also participated in several ANGT tournaments that pit youth systems from different European clubs against each other. In one of them he stood out, averaging 12 points in just 15 minutes of play, with an outstanding 67% shooting percentage from the field and three-pointers. This performance helped him to become one of ASVEL's best junior players. In the 2021-2022 season, he appeared in 28 games in which he averaged 12.5 points, 4.4 rebounds, and 2.2 assists per night. In addition, he got his first minutes in professional basketball at the age of 17, playing 3 games in the EuroLeague and 2 games in France's first basketball division. During the 2022-2023 season, Risacher only participated in 11 games in the U21 league. The reason is that the forward was already part of the rotation of the ASVEL basket first team, playing 18 games during the season and enjoying 3 starts. His importance on the court wasn't vital, but the team wanted to help his development. Besides, Zaccharie was ready to take the next step. That's why at the beginning of this season that's about to end, Zaccharie was already one of the best prospects in the world. This season, he's been loaned to JL Bourg, another team playing in the top tier French basketball. There he's been able to stand out and make a vital contribution to the performance of a senior team where he's had to face opponents of all ages. With averages of 11 points and 4.5 rebounds per game in the French League, and 11 points and 3.5 rebounds in the Euro Cup, Risacher has demonstrated his ability to become an immediate role player. The French forward meets all the requirements you could possibly need and requirements of a wing in the modern NBA as well as the future NBA. I mean, while he's not exactly an athletic prodigy like many wings that are currently finding success in the best league in the world, he's not a slow player either. In fact, for his 6'10" frame, he's a decently quick player. His wingspan is certainly undersized for his height at 6'11", but he still has enough lateral quickness to contain players from several different positions. Weight may be an issue in the short term, as his 205 pounds also seems a bit light for a player who will probably have a lot of minutes guarding power forwards. But with his work ethic, he probably won't have too much trouble gaining the necessary muscle. Of course, there is one thing that's caught the attention of scouts. It's his maturity on the court. Something necessary for an 18-year-old player to become a starter in European professional basketball. Zaccharie doesn't have too many concentration problems, neither on offense nor on defense. He has good defensive instincts and has shown his ability to protect the rim. In addition, he's not a player who commits too many turnovers. In fact, his decision-making and understanding of the game on offense are very attractive to scouts. He can read plays and he can find the mismatches. Offensively, Risacher is a pretty complete player. He's a good long-distance shooter, especially on the catch-and-shoot, averaging 45% on three-pointers in the 23 games he's played in the Euro Cup this season. He's also shown signs of potential to create his shot from the perimeter, but most of the long-range shots he's scored have been off a pass. He's got good form, and he can also score from mid-range. When he puts the ball on the floor, it's usually for one purpose, which is to attack the rim. Risacher is a good finisher both on and off the ball, thanks to his basketball IQ that allows him to find cuts and gaps in the defense with ease. Technically, he's a pretty polished overall player, especially given his age. It's very common to have certain prospects that don't fit into different systems come draft night, because there are certain styles of play that might not be compatible with the systems that a coach has implemented on a team. But when we're talking about a great talent, this is usually not a problem. And teams tend to pick the best player available. But this is precisely the aspect that sets Zaccharie apart from other prospects. There doesn't seem to be a system where this guy couldn't fit in. His defensive potential, his frame, and his value as a catch-and-shoot shooter make him a very adaptable prospect for almost any coach. And that's exactly what makes him special. There are a lot of prospects that are developing players that need time to mature. Some have to go through a stage of adaptability to professional basketball, often because they haven't faced opponents of all ages. But maturity is precisely what Risacher has plenty of. His floor is so high that he's likely to be an immediate impact role player despite his young age. And as we've said, this is the worst-case scenario. If his offensive progression continues to be as satisfactory over the next few months and over the next few seasons as it's been in the French League, his ceiling could be one of the highest in the entire 2024 draft. That's the reason why the mocks, as of today, place him at the very top.